Please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
As India celebrates its 72nd Independence Day, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has delivered his 5th Independence Day speech from the ramparts of the Red Fort, setting the tone for Battle 2019. In what was his last Independence Day speech ahead of the next year's Lok Sabha election, Prime Minister Modi focused on the economic agenda of the government. The Prime Minister compared his tenure with that of the UPA and said that his government's performance could be judged on the basis of the speed at which the economy has been transformed since 2014. He also said that before 2014, India was seen as a part of the fragile 5 economies, and today organizations like the IMF are calling the Indian economy the elephant which has started to run. The Prime Minister highlighted his government's effort to tackle black money as well, and added that the corrupt and those who have black money will not be forgiven. He also slammed the opposition for not allowing the passage of the anti-triple talaq law, saying that his government was committed to Muslim women, women empowerment and the passage of this law. He had a political message on Kashmir as well, saying that he follows Atal Bihari Vajpayee's path of Kashmiriyat, Insaniyat and Jamhuriyat, and he also believes in the fact that Kashmir problem cannot be solved by golis or galis, but gale lagake, by gale lagake. That was the Prime Minister's big political message on Kashmir. Let's get in our panel right now to discuss the Prime Minister's political message. We have Gopal Krishna Agarwal of the BJP. We have Rajya Sabha MP and member of the Congress Party, Pratap Singh Bajwa. We have senior journalist Sharat Pradhan joining us, and P. Chengal Reddy, Chief Advisor of the Consortium of Indian Farmers Association. Pratap Singh Bajwa, if I can come straight to you first. The Prime Minister used the platform of the Red Fort. He had this opportunity before 2019, and he made it clear that the pace of reforms today is much better than what it was in 2013. In fact, if they had followed the same pace of reforms, then simple things like building toilets and electrification would have decades and even hundreds of years. How do you respond to that?
See, one thing I want to say that first of all, I want to congratulate all Indians on this very auspicious day, Independence Day of India. So I will not, being in the opposition, I will not like to criticize the Prime Minister, because the Prime Minister is the Prime Minister of the whole nation. He is even our Prime Minister and we hold him in very high regard. But one thing is there, he is a great mesmerizer. This is, I would like to say that at one given moment, even Hitler mesmerized Germany. Even Mussolini mesmerized Italy, and just see what is the condition, or what was the condition of those two nations. He also, on the Red Fort, every single year, he has been promising something, delivering nothing. Every second year, he comes up with a new program and forgets about the rest. I just wanted to ask the Honorable Prime Minister today, what is the state of the economy? Rupee has hit more than 70 rupees per dollar. And your Sensex is falling, your Nifty is falling, your manufacturing is going down, your exports are coming down, your imports are increasing, and you are saying that India is progressing. I think so. We are going. See, one thing I want to tell you, in an independent nation, there are different parameters. One of the most important parameter, along with the economy, is the defense preparedness. It's the foreign policy of the nation. Where is India today? We are completely isolated on the foreign policy, on defense preparedness. Parliament committee headed by Murli Manor Joshi ji, one of the veterans of the BJP, has just come up with an appalling report where they say India does not have ammunition of more than 10 days to fight against China or Pakistan.
On that note,
we are underprepared in defense.
Mr. Bajwa, I'm going to get in the BJP on that.
Economy is totally collapsed, and this grace and this great mesmerization.
All right, Mr. Bajwa, I'll request you to hold on. I have to get in other panelists now.
Yeah.
Gopal Krishna Agarwal, you've got Pratap Singh Bajwa of the Congress saying that even Hitler can mesmerize. So the Prime Minister has not done any great deal when he's talking about these achievements. He said, what about our defense preparedness? And there are also challenges in the form of economic challenges. Look at the rupee hitting the 70 to a dollar mark for the first time, $18 billion trade deficit. These are big economic challenges, and the Congress is saying none of this has been addressed in the Prime Minister's speech.
I would first of all give my good wishes to the people of the country on this 72nd Independence Day. Second thing I would like to mention is just anybody who mesmerizes doesn't have an analogy of Hitler or Mussolini. It is quite different. This analogy doesn't stand at every place or anything. The third thing is that the country of 125 crore people will definitely have several problems. But ultimately, what you have done over the period, what you were in power, how much road you have covered, that is important. That what Prime Minister has was conveying in this message. The way what happened in the country was the indecisiveness of the leadership was harming everything. The slow pace of implementation was harming the people of the country. So these two important issues, along with the large-scale corruption and leakages in the government system machinery, was the cause of the problem, and that has been addressed in these 4 years. That is very clear. Now we have a very healthy economy. Definitely falling rupee and trade deficit is a concern, but macroeconomic parameters have to be looked into, not isolation. It has to be taken in the complete picture. You have inflation under control, you have good foreign exchange reserves, you have high GDP growth rate, your fiscal deficit is under control,
but
your
Gopal,
current account deficit,
Krishna
which was
Agarwal,
earlier,
we also have
is,
high NPAs.
much below what
we also
was
have high
thing.
NPAs.
So I agree, there are problems.
Like Nirav Modi, Mehul Choksi, Vijay Mallya,
Yes.
they're on the run. They're all in different parts of the world. We're yet to be able to catch them. I'm going to get in Sharad Pradhan also on the big message over here. Sharad Pradhan,
that's what
you heard the
Prime Minister
addressed.
addressed.
For about
No, just 10 seconds more.
These are
not
his longest
important
speech,
issues you raised.
But Sharad Pradhan, yeah, I'm going to come back to you, Gopal Agarwal. But Sharad Pradhan, what do you think was the Prime Minister's big message over here? He hit out at the Congress, he hit out at the opposition, he spoke about women empowerment. What do you think was the Prime Minister's strategy as he spoke from the Red Fort today?
Well, you know, the main message is about the comparison that he drew between the previous governments and his 4.5-year stint as Prime Minister. And very skillfully he did that, you know, thanks to his oratory skills, which undoubtedly is mesmerizing for whatever reason. And, you know, the way he compared, he sought to draw a comparison between what had now the benchmark is 2013, very skillfully. This is the first time he is doing this. And he is talking about what he has been able to achieve and deliver between 2014 and now. And I think that is going to be the focus of the 2019 campaign, election campaign. Because he would try and make it easier to impress upon people that, look here, whatever was done until 2013, that was at a very slow pace, and we have delivered this. You know, in the bargain, he will be able to cover up things like Nirav Modi and Choksi and a lot of failures which have actually happened. And the many issues which he has not addressed, which is unemployment. Unemployment, he has been talking about very vaguely. In recent speeches, he was in Lucknow some time back over to address a summit, investor summit, and he talked about providing 2 crore employment to people in India by simple statistics that he was citing, that so many CAs have passed out in these years, 2 years, so therefore so many people have got employed. You take it for,
but I know what Gopal Agarwal would say to that. BJP spokespersons have been saying that Prime Minister never spoke about 2 crore jobs, but we have reliable data that jobs have increased. This is what the BJP has been saying. Even though Niti Aayog is saying that we are yet to come up with credible data and a mechanism for that. But let's get in a representative from the farmers sector right now. We also have with us Mr. Chengal Reddy, Chief Advisor of the CIFA. Mr. Chengal Reddy, were you satisfied with the kind of assurances that came from the Red Fort today? The Prime Minister said that we've raised MSP. This was a demand that had been there for the past several years. We are committed to doubling farmer incomes. Do you think he gives hopes to farmers across the country, Chengal Reddy?
My message to my farmers friends is we got independence, but we have not achieved freedom. Now, regarding this, is the major problems that are confronted since 2004 are basically one that of how do we overcome of this debt trap every farmer in India has. And the second issue is how do we resolve the issue of increasing the production or productivity. And thirdly, how to make agriculture sustainable. Of course, the last one is, this is the rain dependent, mostly rain fed farming. You see, in 2014, what Mr. Modi said, and then BJP manifesto said, and what Mr. Modi announced today, well, it is a series of slogans. I would like to inform the Mr. Modi and BJP government that you have not paid any attention to farm sector at all. I will ask Mr. Modi 2-3 basic things. What is the investment you have increased in farm sector in terms of infrastructure like irrigation and all that, or mechanization? And then what are the steps you have taken to bring in more technologies from either Israel, Japan or America or Timbuktu? And then lastly, what is that you are able to, what is the so-called MSP which you announced in July? Please remember in May 2015, your government filed an affidavit in Supreme Court saying that MSP will distort the price. And suddenly after 3 years before elections, you say you have given an MSP. Actually, this MSP of 1750 to rice or wheat, it is not, that is the production cost. Production cost in all the states, in the important states of Punjab, Haryana, Andhra, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka. So this is very, very disappointing. In fact, I have not expected anything from Mr. Modi because being an election year, he goes on making more promises, more slogans. Other than that, we have no expectations from Mr. Modi. I mean, to be honest,
Mr. Chengal Reddy, there is a farmers' agitation underway as well. Farmers have been saying that if you talk about this MSP announcement, this is not even what the Prime Minister himself had promised. In fact, Mallikarjun Kharge, different members of the Congress party have been saying this in Parliament as well. We'll address all those issues, but there's a very important issue on Kashmir, where he said that we will follow Atal Bihari Vajpayee's path. We will embrace the people of Jammu and Kashmir. What about that political message? How will that go down in the days to come? He also recalled the surgical strike as well. We'll discuss all of that after the break. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to this special broadcast on Independence Day. We're joined by Gopal, Krishna Agarwal of the BJP, Pratap Singh Bajwa of the Congress, Chengal Reddy and Sharath Pradhan, senior journalist. And we will go fast now because there are a number of issues to be covered. And I'd like to begin with Sharath Pradhan. Sharath Pradhan, do you see any change in policy towards Kashmir when the Prime Minister says Kashmir ki samasya ka samadhan gale lagakar hi kiya ja sakta hai, gali aur goli se nahi?
Actually, this is not the first time that he has said this, but certainly the fact that he is re-emphasizing on this, he has said this earlier also, but fact of the matter is whether this policy is actually practiced on ground. He said it earlier also, but it wasn't, that wasn't the case on ground. So if it is actually followed by the people down the line, I'm sure it could make a lot of difference. And the fact that he is talking about it, probably at the end of the day, he has also realized that Vajpayee's policy was the best solution to this age-old problem. So I'm sure things will change. The fact that he is making this kind of a statement from the ramparts of the Red Fort, I'm sure this should bring about a change. And also, you know, there is a lot of other political messages. You know, for instance, he talked about the flower blooming in the Nilgiris. Now, you and I don't know whether which flower and what flower. But the fact, and then he talked about Subramanian Bharti.
Sharath Pradhan, I'll quickly get in Gopal Agarwal. I'll come back to you because I want to pursue this point on Kashmir. Gopal Krishna Agarwal, is there an acknowledgement within the BJP and the government that the last 4 years in Kashmir have not been good? Look at the statistics. 43 personnel are security personnel killed in Jammu and Kashmir. This year, 16 civilians killed as well. In 2017, 80 security personnel killed, 40 civilians also killed. In 2016, 18 civilians killed, 82 security personnel killed. But yes, a large number of terrorists have also been gunned down. So is there an acknowledgement that there needs to be a change in approach towards Kashmir? Gopal Agarwal.
No, No, I don't think there has to be a change. What Prime Minister has said that there has to be a change in Kashmir policy. He mentioned that gale lagana is also an important part of the policy. But kisko gale lagana? जो हमारे देश के यूथ हैं जो मिसगाइडेड हैं, टेररिस्ट को थोड़ी गले लगाना है. For them there is army action, for them there is paramilitary action, and for the Pakistan infiltrators there is surgical strike. He has talked about surgical strike, the role of army in maintaining internal security and the border security. So Kashmir policy is different for different people, and terrorists are at the run. Their financial backbone is being broken. So Kashmir is a complex issue, and everything, Pakistan has to be dealt differently, youth of Kashmir have to be dealt differently, political process has to be dealt differently, and terrorists have to be dealt differently. And he says it's a mixture of gale lagana and strong arm policies. So that's nothing changed. I think strong
Pratap Singh Bajwa, how do you respond to Gopal Agarwal? He's saying there is no change in the Kashmir policy.
Just a second, please.
The Prime Minister also emphasized that we are following what Atal Bihari Vajpayee has said on Kashmir.
Yeah, that is there. That means in the 5th year, from the ramparts of the Red Fort, he had to concede that my 4-year policy on Kashmir has totally failed. He is going back on Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee's policy. Number 2, I want to say this on the your channel. The foreign policy of India has completely failed. All our neighbors, even Nepal, a Hindu nation, is today in the lap of China. Pakistan has become a satellite of China. Maldives has just told the Indian government, remove your military apparatus from Maldives. Sri Lanka is also today, China has thrown a bait. Bangladesh is also in the lap of China. What is he talking about? All of foreign policy has failed. The Kashmir policy has failed. The foreign policy of India has failed. He is a one-man army. He even does not take the external affairs minister, Sushma Swaraj, along with him. He's just embracing Trump and others. Even Russia, one of the most committed allies of India, today has had military these exercises with Pakistan.
All right.
What are they
I want
talking
to move
about?
on now.
He has failed on the domestic front. He has failed
I want
on
to
the
move on to the
front.
next
He has failed
issue.
on the economic front. He has failed on all fronts.
Sharad Pradhan, do you feel that it would have been better? He spoke about women's empowerment. He spoke about the fact that we are going to grant permanent commission to women through a transparent setup through the Short Service Commission. He spoke about triple talaq. But what happened in Deoria, what happened in Bihar, in Muzaffarpur, in Bihar, that was extremely serious. We've seen incidents of lynching. We have seen a huge debate over NRC. Do you think these are issues that should have been addressed by the Prime Minister in his speech?
Well, certainly it should have been addressed. They have been skillfully, he skirted all these issues which are extremely fundamental to maintaining law and order in the country. You know, just talking about women being saved on account of triple talaq, fair enough. Muslim women, that's a good move. But the way the rapes are rampantly going on all over in different parts, particularly in states like UP and Bihar and even Madhya Pradesh, something drastic needs to be done. By simply citing 2 examples of Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh, which he did in his speech, where quick dispensation of justice by the judges sent these guys to the gallows, the rapists to the gallows. But that is not a solution, because that must have been a case where some activist judge took the lead and decided to take an early decision. But the fact of the matter is that in most courts, these people go unpunished. So some law, the judicial, something has to be brought about, a fundamental change has to be brought about in the judicial system to ensure that these people are punished. Secondly, lynching is something which is skillfully, carefully avoided.
We'll take the last round of questions now. Yeah. I get your point,
Muslim women also
Mr. Sharad Pradhan, but
men who are lynched.
The Prime Minister spoke a lot about reforms. He said the pace of reforms today is much better than what it was way back in 2013. He spoke about electrification, how electricity has reached the remotest corners of India, how the farmer today is happier, how the government is committed to modernization and doubling farmer incomes as well. Did you see a roadmap over here? What are your expectations in this election year from Prime Minister Narendra Modi?
See, the failure of BJP government is evident on 2-3 specific areas especially in regard to the rural areas. Look at almost every state, there is agitation going on for reservation. Reservation for what? But 2-3% of government jobs. I mean, any community, every community wants to do the so-called reservation. Then the fundamental question that can you make agriculture sustainable, Mr. Modi hasn't able to answer. And lastly, the institutions. You see, what we expected Mr. Modi in 2014 when he came, most of the governmental institutions functioning is very, very below standard. Therefore, we thought the reforms means reforms in terms of technology to farmers, efficient governmental functioning, and reforms in terms of liberalization, incentivizing, and resolving farmers' issues on permanent basis, such as risk mitigation or long-term export policies. But if you look at today, there is no commodity. Every commodity is in distress. Milk, sugar, wheat, rice, pulses, none of them, there is no purchasing. There is nobody to purchase. Is it because of mishandling of government? Or is it because there is no proper policy of exports and processing? Yes, it is obvious. See, look at us. As a farmer, we have produced not only for the national needs, in fact, we have produced so that we can export. But then it's where the government has failed. This is highly disappointing. See, Mr. Modi somehow has gone astray because he seems to have thought so-called reforms in demonetization for foreign affairs. Instead of setting his home, first of all, he has to have set right his home, that is rural areas and farmers.
One thing is certain.
He should have taken priority in that, but then he missed the bus.
We've completely run our time.
Yes.
We've completely run our time, but we'd like to thank Chengal Reddy, Pratap Singh Vajba, Gopal Krishna Agarwal and Sharat Pradhan for joining us. This is going to be a challenging year for Narendra Modi. He hit out at the opposition. He wanted to leave a legacy behind. He wanted to talk about his achievements. Yes, there have been developments on the economic front, but there are challenges as well. Rahul Gandhi, the Congress will keep up the attack on the government, and in the days to come, we will see a battle, a huge battle between the Congress and the BJP. And the opposition will also be hitting out at the government. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining us on this special Independence Day broadcast.